So for domain 1, author and maintain workflows, the first bullet point is configure workflows to run for one or more events. So let's take a look at an example for that. So I'm back to my repositories. Now I'm going to click over here, add a file, create a new file. Now I want to create this file under .github slash workflows slash event.yaml. And over here we are going to type the file contents. So we are going to look at an example over here where we are going to trigger this workflow on any push event. So it could be push event to the main branch or any other branch. So I'm going to name my workflow push events, and on push. In the job section, we are going to do show info. So this would be our first job, and it runs on. So we are going to run it on Ubuntu, and then we'll provide the steps. So the name is info, and then we will run echo command. This is a push event on all the branches. So whenever now we push some code to any of the branches, be it main or any other branch, this workflow will run. So I'm going to click on commit changes over here. And then I'm going to click directly to or I'm going to commit directly to the main branch. Not the best practice. You need to create a pull request and such. But let's just commit changes directly to the main branch just for this demo. Now, for this repository, I'll go to the Actions tab. And since our commit was a push event to the main branch, it will trigger our workflow. So I'm going to click over here and it show the show info job. And if we look at our step name info, it does echo this is a push event on all the branches because we had the step called info in our job called show info. So that's one of the demos. Now you can also specify any specific branch. Say you only want to trigger the workflow when you push to the main branch. So we can also do that. So I'm going to go back to our repository. I'm going to click on our events.yaml file, and I'm going to edit it. So I'm going to edit this file. And over here, we have on push. We can do on push and branches main. So this workflow will now only trigger when we push changes to the main branch. Or you could have multiple branches. So you could say main and test. So this will only trigger if you push changes to the main branch or the test branch. So I'm going to commit changes over here. And then I'm going to commit directly to the main branch again. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to go back to my actions. And and this is the new workflow run. And don't worry about this one. You will not see that I have additional configuration in my org. So that's the reason. Please ignore this line about renovate bot. So our workflow just ran. And it did succeed because we pushed to the main branch. Now let's see if our workflow gets triggered if I push changes to a different branch using a different pull request. Now in our event.yaml, trigger the pipeline only if you push changes to the main branch. So I'm going to go back to domain 1. I'm going to go to the workflows and I'm going to add a file, and I'm going to just call it as test.txt. This is a test file. I'm going to commit changes. I'm going to create a new branch, and the name is fine over here. This is a test commit. I'm going to then create a pull request. So this is a test commit. I'm going to create a pull request and try to merge it into main. Now I've created a pull request, I've created a branch, and now let's see, did it trigger any action? I'm going to open it in a new tab, and it did not trigger any workflow action, any workflow trigger, because we are only going to trigger a workflow if there is a push to the main branch. Now, if I merge the pull request into the main branch, let's see, does it trigger any workflow? And yes, it does trigger the workflow because now we are pushing to the main branch. And if we'll click at the info, it triggers the echo statement that we had added to the info step.